I don't claim to know everything about 80s music. In fact, as I do research for these videos, I discover things I never knew myself, including new music that, despite being decades old, is brand new to me. So in a follow-on from last week's episode on German synth-pop group Propaganda, I'm taking a look at Claudia Brücken and ACT. They are my new favourite obsession. So stay tuned for lifestyles of the rich and famous via this week's Song of the Day. So as we saw last week, the breakup of Propaganda came after their first album, A Secret Wish, brought on by the group suing their record label ZTT over an unfair contract. We knew already that Michael Mertens was the only original member to stay the course and eventually reform a new look Propaganda and release the album 1, 2, 3, 4 in 1990. The lead vocalist for Propaganda's original incarnation was Claudia Brücken. She stayed signed with Trevor Horn's ZTT label and joined forces with Scottish electronics composer and vocalist Thomas Lear to form a duo calling themselves ACT, which apparently is an acronym for Alliance of Claudia and Thomas. I'll confess, I'd never heard of ACT. They never enjoyed the success that Propaganda did. But as I started doing research for the Propaganda episode, I discovered their work and I can confidently say I'm a fan, especially of their debut track titled Snobbery and Decay.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous, look at them. Who can blame us? Blessing is in the subject of decay.
That absolutely should have been a smash hit. It's a song that deftly skewers the wealth and excess that epitomised the 80s. The 80s gave rise to the word yuppie, and it really was a time when wealth was flaunted, driven by an economy at its peak, a boom in resources, and the capitalism is king mentality of characters like Gordon Gekko from the movie Wall Street.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
And with the MTV age upon us, the focus was on presenting an image and selling the sizzle with extravagance and self-indulgence. Stylistically, it's a move away from the sound of Propaganda, with Lear's influence bringing funkier tunes. But it was produced by Steve Lipson, who did A Secret Wish for Propaganda, so it still had that ZTT sound. The album used a lot of cutting-edge technology, which Lipson was bringing into the sessions. What Brücken and Lear didn't realise was that someone had to pay for that cool new gear, and it was all being added to the cost of recording their album. In reference to the production cost of their single, Claudia was quoted in 2018 as saying, "To some extent, I'm still paying for that song, which cost about as much to make as a house." The video for Snobbery and Decay was produced by the Molotov Brothers, a production company that made music videos for Level 42, the Communards, Duran Duran, and a host of other artists in the 80s. The second single, Absolutely Immune, followed in September 1987. A dark social commentary on Thatcher's Britain and the threat of nuclear war, and how the protagonist feels numbed to the effects of what is happening around them. The third single, I Can't Escape From You, features a cover of the Smiths song Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now on the B-side, which was also included on the CD release of their album, but not on the LP or cassette version.
I was looking for a job and then I found a job. But heaven knows I'm miserable now.
There was also a fourth single, Chance, which was released and then immediately withdrawn from sale, apparently because of an unauthorized sample of an ABBA song being used in the track. Their only album, Laughter, Tears and Rage, released in June of 1987. Neither the album nor the singles were real chart successes. Snobbery and Decay reached number 60 in the UK, Absolutely Immune only got to 97. ACT didn't last long, they produced only the one album and then parted ways. Nevertheless, the album, as a piece of its time, is a great listen, and as a debut single, I couldn't ask for anything more than Snobbery and Decay. If I were to criticise anything, it would be to say that critiquing wealth and excess while spending a house-sized budget on your record and having your photos taken by Lord Lichfield, the Queen's cousin, possibly lacks a little self-awareness. Introspection, that doesn't come along until the grunge era of the 90s. Still, it is a brilliant piece of pop music and a tragedy that it didn't do better. I hope you enjoy it, and please join me again for the next 80s Song of the Day.